there comes a point where when you have 7 credit cards, heck, let's go even lower. You got 6 credit cards, you can't control them. What's 7? What's 8? What's 9? There comes a bar where, at least in my experience with my debt history, you just don't, you don't care anymore. You give it up. It's like give up the fight, just go further into debt. It just doesn't matter. And it really takes something to wake you up out of it and go, wait a minute, this is only making my, debt hole bigger. Happy Tuesday evening, family. Let us go ahead and listen to the trials and tribulations of what might be young love. David Ramsey episode ran 2 days ago. I'm $150,000 in debt trying to impress a woman. I'm so glad you're here with me. Let's hit it, folks.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
I am 26. I have $160,000 worth of debt, and I am wondering if I should file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
What?
Oh, like I said, family, the trials and tribulations of young love. And the only reason we know is because, like it says in the title, I'm $150,000 in debt trying to impress a woman. Where was this guy when I was dating in my college years? I'm just saying. At 57, I wonder, okay? You hear about it, but you never experience it. So anyway, should he file bankruptcy? He basically bought a house for a woman. Well, maybe not a house, but a condo. He basically bought a condo for a woman that neither one can live in. And the fact that he sounds a little bit depressed leads me to believe that perhaps this love did not last past the dollar bill.
Why'd you jump to that conclusion? What makes you think you can't crawl out of this?
Well, I've been working a lot, 2 jobs, constantly, not really able to get anywhere. Recently, about a year ago, I caught a case for a felony charge, and I am still going on actively with that case, trying to get probation. So it's been very difficult for me to find another job now that my background check is showing a felony.
Oh, family, we all have our, unfortunates in life, all right? I cannot throw stones. I'm sure many of you can't throw stones either. It's just, unfortunately, the bigger the stone we throw, the more damage it does. So he has a felony. Something tells me if he has a felony, he's probably been to jail. Now, I'm just guessing here, okay? And perhaps when he got out of jail, he found a woman that he thought he could, perhaps, right the wrongs of his life and lead a path of new direction. And it did not work. Now, that may not have been the intended, but it's at least what I'm thinking. Now, I want to know the same thing you all want to know. What was the felony for? And in the society that we live in today, hold on, beverage. In the society that we live in today, with social media, when you were younger, let's put us in the 80s, even in the 90s, before everything got really put onto social media, but definitely 80s and earlier. And I'm even going to say part of the 90s too, okay? Most of the 90s. You could commit a crime, right the error of your wrongs, and you could move on with your life, okay? And a lot of people had the opportunity to be able to do that without it forever being scarred on social media. Now, because this show is 2 days old and this guy's 26, his whole life history is on social media in one way or another, whether you know it or not. Google yourself sometime. Now, if he has a felony, I'm going to bet that he's right. It's going to be harder than most to get a job. And a lot of people with felonies have to find a way to become self-employed, to really, really make it financially. We are going to take, hold on, where's my umbrella? Family, we're going to take a tender heart to this. Unless, of course, we find out, he's out on Capital One, what type of crimes. And then it's off To the gallows he shall go. But for right now, we're going to take just a little softer heart. He may have had good intentions, and he was looking to change his life, and this didn't quite work out.
In charge.
So what are you doing now for work?
Yeah, so I'm working at Amazon. I'm making about $4,100 a month at a minimum. I can potentially make more depending on if they allow me to get overtime or work a 6th day. I'm working 5 days there.
Gee, somebody put me at a job at Amazon. $4,100 a month? Dang. Of course, I do know a lot of the jobs at Amazon don't last very long because they're such back-breaking work.
Right now.
Okay.
Last year I made $60,000 off of it, off of Amazon alone.
He's making more than a school teacher. He's making more than a school teacher.
But I'm just like drowning right now with payments, and I rounded up all my minimum payments for all my loans and everything, and my minimum is $5,300.
Whoa.
A month.
53. Okay. $5,300. But family, think about this. He owes $150,000 in debt. Oh, sweet Jesus. If he's paying $5,300, I'm thinking this is like on credit cards and stuff. In other words, we're not going for the lowest interest rate. I think that's one thing we can probably safely assume. $150,000 at $5,300. Oh, this is, and not to say that it's going to lead back to a life of crime, all right? Because we certainly don't want to go back there for this young man. Remember, he's only 26. Oh, and you know what, folks? We can't just jump and say he has a felony and that makes him a horrible person. We can't do that because there are so many grades of felonies, levels, that you would be surprised at some of the things that are considered felonies. I'm not going to discuss it, but you might be really surprised to go, that person got a felony for that? Just saying. I know our minds always think to the worst. I can't say those things because the YouTube computer does not like that, but it's not always the worst. You would be very surprised that some things can become a felony that, and then some things that were once felonies, if you're from the state of Oregon, are no longer a felony. I don't know if it's no longer a felony, but I know some things are no longer misdemeanors. Just saying.
Month, and that's just on minimum payments. That's not including food or rent or anything else.
How have you made it so far? What's getting you through every month if you're going underwater?
This was all for a chick? It says to impress a woman, not women. You probably had better luck with the women.
So how did I make it so far? Well, I've been doing
Are you going further into debt every month?
No. So I'm tapped out. I can't even.
We're tapped out just listening to you. Cyrus in Dallas, Texas.
Get the debt consolidation loan. My credit is shot.
What kind of debt is this?
What is this debt, man?
Can you break down the 160?
Yeah, so I have a vehicle that's $51,000 I owe left on it.
Whoa! 51,000. Family, did you hear that? Jamie, did you hear that? Benny, Alex, and Jeremy. Any of you guys hear that? Yeah, I know I don't live stream, okay, right now, except for during the summer for the most part. Maybe during the Christmas season. Did you guys all hear that? Parlor, you guys hear all that? That 51, hold on, just a second. I got to hear this. Hold on. I got to hear this again.
I can't even get the debt consolidation loan. My credit is shot.
What kind of debt is this?
What is this debt, man?
Can you break down the 160?
Yeah, so I have a vehicle that's $51,000 I owe left on it.
Oh, I did hear that correct. Oh, yes. And hello to Home with Love and Mr. D. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Oh, okay. All right. 51,000 for a car. That is half the value of my condo. The one sitting behind me that you can't see because I got this beautiful AI stuff up. 51,000 for a car. Now look, He's 26 years old. Is this all clicking, folks? We are not making good decisions. Not saying that's what led up to the felony, but we clearly are not making good decisions. Please don't tell me he bought this car for the woman. Oh, jeez. You know what? I hope he at least has the vehicle. Because if she drove off with the vehicle and he stuck with the $51,000 debt. People, when you are 26 years old and you are just fresh out of the felony entrapment camp, all right, where you were doing your push-ups, please don't buy yourself a $51,000 vehicle. And I'm assuming, folks, if it was a felony, he was probably in jail for a period of time. I mean, I could be wrong, okay? But, oh, and I burned myself with a curling iron, if anyone wants to know what that is. Oh, the things we do to look beautiful. Yeah, so, oh, geez, 51,000.
51,000?
Did we all hear 51,000?
Yeah, it's a Tesla Model Y Performance.
Oh,
Who cares what it is? It's 51,000. It is 51,000. You are 26. You have a felony. You're trying to get your life back on track. You need every penny you can to promote yourself, but in the right way. I am not judging the felony. I will not judge without knowing what it was. When I find out what it was, then okay, maybe it did or did not work, all right? Oh, a lot of YouTubers have felonies too, by the way, so that's the reason we don't judge. No, I do not have a felony. I would not be able to work with children if I did. Okay, but still, you'd be surprised. A lot of YouTubers have felonies. You know, life is what it is, family. We make our mistakes and we try to move forward, but please don't move forward at 26 with a $51,000 vehicle.
not a Tesla.
What's it worth?
The Tesla? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's
Not
only worth
51.
35,000.
How much?
35,000.
Oh, family, it is only worth 35,000. He owes 51, 35, you know, carry math, 35, 40, 45, 50. He is $16. Hey, don't laugh at my math skills, okay? It is what it is. All right? My math skills, I am proud to say, I suck at it. It's all right. So he is $16,000 upside down. A Tesla. Is anyone even buying a Tesla anymore? Is anybody buying a Tesla? Yes, this was to impress the little woman.
Okay. What else?
I have 9 credit cards that
Oh, the T family.
a total of $55,000 worth of debt on that.
Jeez. Oh, my. Look. Okay. You know, I hear this for the first time with you. I know Home with Love is dying. And Jamie, I think Jamie's probably at work. That's the usual crew, folks, on the evening live streams. Let's see. 9 credit cards. 9 credit cards. I can barely count the number. So between the credit card and the Tesla is 100,000. Did we learn nothing when we were in the federal penitentiary? Did we learn nothing? I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Okay.
And then I have the rest of my loans, which is 98,000, which is 3 personal loans and then my auto loan.
Oh, family. Oh my God. Okay, 98K. There's not a there's not a 6-figure debt darn near that this guy don't like. You know, if by any chance this evening you were feeling a little hard on yourself about your money situation and thinking maybe I shouldn't have bought that extra, I don't know, whatever item, I can bet you it doesn't come to a 50K Tesla, 98,000 in personal loans, and 9 credit cards with another 50,000, and God knows what else. I sure hope this isn't a loan shark he's owing money on, because this going to a loan shark. Don't want to play that game. You know what? You know how we get ourselves into this? Well, how he gets himself into this? Well, how did I get myself into 2 bankruptcies? Okay, but you know what it is? It's a certain sense of giving up. A certain part of him has given up. And I'm saying this sincerely. okay? Because having been so broke in my past too, there can come a moment where you just feel like nothing you do is right. Absolutely nothing you do is right. And when your debt gets so big that it becomes out of a control snowball, what's adding on more debt? It's almost like, I mean, I don't like to take this example considering that, he's coming out of prison. It's kind of like, people who are in prison for life. It's like they have nothing to lose if they choose to, commit a crime in prison. It's like, what they got to lose? They have a life sentence anyways. They're in a state that doesn't have the death penalty. What's your life to them, so to speak? Okay. But it's that sense of hopelessness. That's what I'm getting at. It's the sense of hopelessness. I think to some extent, when people get themselves into serious debt, no, not I think, I know. Okay. There can come a dollar point when you are so far in debt. It's like, well, I'm already, 100,000 in debt. What's another 130? What's another 150? You see? And I'm saying this with a sensitive heart, family, okay? And I think that's what we might have here. And we don't know. I know the title says 150,000 to impress a woman. We don't know the role of the woman in his life, if this was somebody he really was serious about, that he really wanted to be with. We don't really know if this was was he just naive, 26, had his blinders on, and she was only happy to be with him while he was spending money, and then when he ran out of money, she was like, out of here. Wink wink. I'm willing to bet that was more so the case. All right. So, but there comes a point where when you have 7 credit cards, heck, let's go even lower. You got 6 credit cards, you can't control them. What's 7? What's 8? What's 9? There comes a bar where, at least in my experience with my debt history, you just don't, you don't care anymore. You give it up. It's like, give up the fight. Just go further into debt. It just doesn't matter. And it really takes something to wake you up out of it and go, wait a minute, this is only making my, debt hole bigger. And that's all it's doing. And it really takes something to wake you up out of it. For some people, it's bankruptcy. For me, it was bankruptcy. That woke me up out of it, at least for the first one. Then I went belly up on a car, but that was on a car. Okay, 9-10 years later. No, I never did that either. So each of the things, credit cards and cars, that I went bankrupt on, I never repeated at least the reasons for those bankruptcies. So that's probably what we've got here, is a certain just sense of he's given up. I mean, this is an astronomical amount of debt for a 26-year-old. And it would have been different if he had said, okay, forget the felony part. Let's just put that aside. Because in a lot of what is it, the word? It's not relevant to a certain extent. Okay, the felony is not relevant. What we're looking at is just the constant debt, unlimited amount of debt. Wow.
Your other what?
My auto loan.
Auto loan. You have another auto loan?
No. It's the Tesla loan.
Okay, so you got $51K on the car, 9 credit cards that are $55K, and then the other, what is that? Another 50 or 60 is in personal loans.
No. So total with the car, it's 98. So it would be another like 40 in personal.
Okay. Where did all this money go? What have you been spending on?
So
we're talking 100K in just spending. Yeah.
To make a long story short, I as I mentioned, I had a 3-year-old daughter. I was in a relationship with this woman. Basically,
he has a 3-year-old daughter.
She was unfaithful to me. We broke up.
Was he in jail when this all happened? Just that we don't know. We would need to know the whole story. How long were you in jail?
Ever since then, I've been trying to honestly repair our relationship for our child, and also because it's a woman that I love and care about.
Okay, well that doesn't change the debt, but it does change the picture as far as this was the mother of his child. The fact that there's a felony involved, now I know I said it wasn't relevant. That's the word I was looking for, was relevant. But now that I also know it's the mother of the child, I'm willing to bet this was probably a volatile relationship to begin with. Just my hunches. So he has I mean, clearly, and if it's not if it's not a volatile relationship with the mother and child, he lived a volatile life, clearly, to put himself into a situation where he would get a felony. Hopefully the felony wasn't, physically towards her or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to assume it was not, but I could be wrong. I can't assume. I don't know it. Okay, but if you really want to get down to it, if he's trying to spend all this money for the mother of his child, it does change it as far as, okay, he wasn't just out, bar hopping, so to speak.
Well, long story short, it's been years of nonstop taking on her debts, paying, for food, and basically living like two households the whole time.
Taking on her debts. The mother of his child? If it's taking on her debts, then she's just as financially immature as he is. And it's noble that he was trying to help and take on her debts, but clearly he's not in a position to. And even if he were in a position to, even though it is the mother of his child, if they're not together as a couple, beyond what the court says, that they even got legally married, and something tells me they are not ever legally married. And I'm just giving you my suspicions that this was out of wedlock. All right. He's still not obligated to take it on beyond what the needs are for the child. We've got immaturity on both the mother and the father's part here, not just his part.
And yeah, basically just.
So she's been scamming you for this. I mean, she's been just leeching off you all this time, huh?
Yes.
And he's learned nothing from that leeching. Can't get yourselves out of debt, family, if you can't learn from your mistakes. She's had this leeching pattern for a while. This wasn't the first time. Remember, this call was just 2 days ago. So she's been a leech for a long time, and he's allowed her to keep doing it. There comes a point where we give people permission to treat us like that. It hurts to have to admit it, but it's true. This $160,000 of debt, completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary.
Yes. And now, recently I got, I moved, we basically broke up again.
Immaturity on both sides. Both sides.
And I'm left with all this, and she doesn't want to make it work, and
And he didn't know that? Sorry about the interruptions, but, my thoughts are my thoughts. She only seems to be interested in it when you're paying the bill.
I've been continuing trying to make it work for my child, and this is where I'm at now. And
well, hold on. Making it work for your child is different than digging $160,000 hole trying to impress a girl.
Part of me thinks he also wanted those items. I'm just saying, he needs to take some accountability. I mean, I appreciate him coming out as a savior saying, I was trying to save the mother of my child. I wanted to make it work, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's good. Commendable. It didn't work. We recognize that. But let's face it. And short of her pointing a gun to his head and saying, you will take on a Tesla, darn the expense, short of her, saying you will take on 9 credit cards, you will take on $98,000 in other personal loans and whatnot, short of her doing that, he chose to do this. And he can't, being respectful here, but he cannot write off I was trying to save my child. A lot of people sometimes do that. Well, I had to get the 5-bedroom house because, my child needs a place to sleep. I had to buy the really expensive car so my child could get around safe. Okay? I had to go to the most expensive private school, even though we can't afford it. We've had a job loss in the family for my child. Kids should never be used as the reason as to why adults get into debt. I won't say that kids, you have obviously, children with special needs, children with medical needs and stuff. Yes, Adults go into debt for things like that, but those are things directly related to the child's health and well-being. Not, oh, I just want to be friends again with the mother of my child, so I'm going to go out and get a Tesla and run up 9 credit cards.
Yeah.
Those are two different things. And you have lied to yourself for the last 2 or 3 years saying, I'm quote unquote doing this for the baby, but you've been running around like with your peacock feathers out.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly, family. Exactly what I was saying.
Trying to woo this woman, and she's been just happy to take your money, happy to take all your stuff, but it wasn't about that girl. And now again, I think you love your daughter. I think you're working as hard as you can, but man, you got to let the fantasy of this woman go. It's burying you.
But let's be really honest to a certain extent, and just like I was saying, okay. This might be hard for Cyrus in Dallas, Texas, the caller, to hear, but he doesn't kind of want to let the fantasy go, because part of that fantasy includes the child. The child is the excuse as to why he's in the situation he's in. In other words, if he totally lets the fantasy go and it gets to reality, well, reality is that he himself is responsible for his debt. Not the mother of his child, not his child. He himself is responsible. This is why a lot of times, in my opinion, people don't want to let go of certain, crutches, because certain crutches allow them to continue being financially irresponsible. Well, I can't just let go and say that, I can't just dismiss that I have a child who needs things. Because if I dismiss the fact that I have a child who needs things, then what excuse am I going to have as to why I bought a Tesla? Like, does the kid need a Tesla? Does the kid even drive yet? Something tells me no. He's only 26. So in other words, when we go looking to find excuses as to why we're in debt, why we bought what we did, we often tend to unwittingly, we use people or our life situations as the crutch. It becomes the excuse. Well, I'm terribly in debt because I had a really bad childhood. Okay, that was my situation. But I can't revel in it. I could not stay in it. Because if I keep staying in that, then I'm never going to empower myself to get out of it. So, well, the facts on the surface may be true. He's in debt because he has a child that he needs to care for. I suffered greatly financially as a response to childhood trauma. But at some point, he has to let that child go so he can face his own responsibilities. And at some point, I had to let parts of my childhood go, release it, so I could no longer use it as the crutch, as to why I was out of debt, as to why I couldn't hold a job. Just saying.
What's this felony charge about?
So it was, she had a guy in my apartment for the second time.
All right, let's do this. Let's stop there. I don't want you to say something that's going to get subpoenaed on the air. Let's just roll back to the money part.
I think we already have an idea as to what happened. Those FCC and YouTube rules. Yeah, they apply to me too. YouTube rules, yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Are you living alone right now?
Immaturity on both sides. Immaturity in the caller, Cyrus. Immaturity in the gal that's the mother of his child. And really now at this point, I just feel sorry for the child. You can't pick your parents, family. You cannot pick them.
So I was going back between my parents and her. I was in my car for a month. Last month I was in for a whole month, just because I couldn't go back to either one. So now I am back with my parents. They stopped drinking supposedly. So
this is dysfunction all the way around. All right, we'll continue on.
I'm there for now, and this is another reason why I was thinking about bankruptcy, just because I have a case going on. I'm an unstable household. I can't.
Please don't tell me he has another criminal case going on. He says I have another case going on.
Rely on nobody right now. I'm a worker. I 2 years ago I made $93,000 working doubles.
It doesn't matter what you make. It's what you keep. I had a family member write that the other day inside of one of the comments. It does not matter what you make. It's what you keep. We know this. But if what you make isn't something that you can keep to improve your life, then you might as well be making nothing.
I've been working nonstop 2 jobs for the last 3 years.
But bro, if you make 98 3 years in a row, you're out.
No, not 3 years in a year.
No. I'm telling you. Like, I want you to hear George and I say we believe in you. If you make 90 grand for 3 years in a row, just straight hustling, you'll be out. You'll be free.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
He needs a court to also step in and do formal child support and ignore the freaking mother of this child.
You'll be free. If you file bankruptcy, you're putting a chain around your neck and you're jumping into a lake.
And then he's under more court orders. This might be. I don't know. Put your thoughts in the comments if you wish. This might be a rare case where bankruptcy would not be good for him. Now, I'm only thinking of it in the terms of, with his felony, he's already got a paper trail of court records. I don't know anything about this, so maybe if anybody does know, you can add it to the comments. Because he has clearly a trail of felony, he's got a felony trail court record. Does it affect bankruptcy? I do not know this. Would it be worse for him to now have a bankruptcy trail on top of it? In other words, if he doesn't follow the bankruptcy courts and stuff, does the fact that he has a felony, does it cross over into the bankruptcy court any? I guess that's what I'm trying to find out. I would imagine it would not matter. Like, the felony is the felony. The bankruptcy court is the bankruptcy. They're separate but equal, but they don't cross each other. But it's just, he may be sick and tired of court. And I'll tell you this, if he is going to file bankruptcy, he needs to follow those bankruptcy rules to a T. Because much like, criminal court, you miss a date, you don't show up, the case is thrown out. I would imagine the two sides are separate but equal. Felony cases are your felony criminal court, and your bankruptcy is your money court.
Yeah. The problem I have is I've been applying for jobs, and my record with the felony charge.
I got it.
It's darn hard to get a felony and try to get a regular job. People, before you commit egregious acts that go against the law, you got to think about the repercussions. I mean, that's all we're going to say on this tonight, but just everything is forever on the internet. So even if you do the time and you get out, you've served everybody, there's a paper trail on the internet. There is a paper trail. Anybody, look you up.
It's the deck is firmly stacked against you until you get that cleared. 100%.
Yeah.
But I have.
All right, folks. Well, what a fun tea time, party time, call time. Family, I hope you will consider subscribing. It's been a pleasure being here with you this Tuesday evening. I miss you all, but we will be back to live chats possibly during Christmas break and for sure during the summer. Folks, my time is up, and so is yours. Good night, family.